Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay. So everybody can see the screen now.
Yes, please, we can see.
Okay, so like Simon said, I'm Jones Afriyie-Anto, and he started this year pushing me to take all of us through medical legal issues and what nurses and midwives working at especially the peripheries, chief compound health centers need to know so that we can take ourselves off problems. I wish that we can make it a Q&A kind of thing so that we answer ourselves and see what we can do. The truth is that as a lawyer now the easiest way to make money is to look for some medical legal issue, and then you do the case with the promise to the client that when I finish, we share it in this percentage. So that when you win and you share, and some of those cases are so easy to win, and therefore it's interesting. It's very interesting. So we want to do this and see whether we can equip ourselves and so that we'll not put ourselves in trouble. Okay, so court slaps damages of 3 million Ghana cedis. 3 million Ghana cedis on Ridge Hospital. Why did the court do that? So interesting. Why did the court do that? 3 million Ghana cedis is not small money. Those of you who are interested in those figures, and those of us in Kumasi, we prefer to use the old cedis. So we said 30 billion. 30 billion. Why would the court slap 30 billion fine in a hospital for what they call medical negligence? And the action took place in 2020, and the judgment delivered last year, just last year, 2024, July 31st, 2024. And please, this is not far from us. It's not far from us, so we should be checking it very well. It's not far from us. Who can guess who is involved in this matter? Who died in this case? Can somebody help me?
It should be a patient.
It should be a
patient.
By patient, if I have a car, and then the way you want to access the hospital for treatment, you're also a patient.
Okay, so in this case, it's definitely a patient. But if you know the kind of patient, it's interesting. In fact,
please, Madam Benedict Adadi and please kindly mute your mic.
So how they call you? They'll put there that your occupation is nursing, but then you're a patient.
Definitely. So I agree with you.
You are coming here as if you don't write your name, and they'll add you to the modality of this month's clients. So don't say you are a star, you'll see you out.
Okay. I agree with you. But I just wanted to bring the attention to the fact that it is interesting that it's not only as if patients like who are not nurses, who are other people, some not well-to-do clients. These are big people that these things happen to us. In this case, the victim was a practicing nurse, a 32-year-old nurse. a 32-year-old nurse, and he died. And if you know the story, he was given a medication, heparin. It was not given. It was charted. It was not given. The husband bought the drug. The drug was in the patient's drug cards, but it was never given to her. And when she died and the doctors brought the cause of death, she died of thromboembolism, the same condition that drug, if it was given, could have helped resolve. So the court said that this is the natural consequence for somebody 32 years, he could work for the next 28 years for Ghana to look after the family and all those things. So if these things did not happen, then the hospital should pay 3 million Ghana cedis. So we ask ourselves, what is then negligence? What is negligence? What is negligence?
Yes, sir. Wait.
What is negligence? Negligence just means that all of us on this call are supposed to be nurses. If all of us would have done something, but one of us did not do that under the circumstance, then that person is negligent. So they said it's the omission to do something which a reasonable mind, guided by upon those considerations, would do. So let me give you a typical example. If I slap you and all nurses on this call will slap back, then the person who will not slap back is negligent. So that is, it looks weird, but that's the meaning of negligence. And if I slap you and all 66 nurses on call now will not slap, and only you slap, then you are negligent. So that is it. And it is guided by people, what they call reasonable man. But in professionals, it's judged by people in the profession, in the same circumstance. So that is negligent. And I will allow a lot of questions. So I want to go quick, so that by 30 minutes, I would have done with the presentation, and then questions. I take a lot of questions as your chairman indicated. So acts contributing to the negligence can be two. In fact, acts of commission. That is what I was trying to explain, is doing something a reasonable man will not do. If you do something that all of us will not do, you are negligent. Or acts of omission. Acts of omission, that is not doing something that a reasonable man would do under the circumstance, then you are also negligent. So that is the import of the story I want to bring. And so medical negligence is just all the definition I've done. If you put a medical professional there, it is there. So it can be nurse negligent, midwife negligent, medical negligent, whatever negligent. I mean, whatever act or omission for nurses, medical professionals. So when you work, what you do deviates from the accepted medical standard of care, then you are negligent. I'll give you cases, rare case scenarios, so that you will know whether we understand it very well. So for negligence to occur, 4 things should happen. 4 things should happen. And which are these 4 things? 1, there should be a damage. Don't worry, I'm starting from the bottom. There should be a damage. There should be a damage if you want to say there's negligence. So did somebody die? If somebody died, then it is clear there's a damage. If did somebody get shocked, if he suffered shock, it means there's a damage. Did somebody receive injury? Was there any injury? It means there's a damage. So whatever anybody suffers is a damage. So another thing is that, was the damage caused by your action? Was the damage caused by your action? So let me give you as an example. For instance, in the Rich case, if the client had died of, say, hemorrhage, will the nurses be liable for negligence? No, because not giving heparin rather would, if you give heparin, it will even help the patient bleed. So it means the death would not have been caused by not giving the heparin. So it did not cause it. But in this case, the patient died of thromboembolism, a condition that could have been cured by giving heparin. And therefore, that is where you can talk about negligence in that case. So it should be caused by it. Causation. It should be caused by it. Then the person suffering is the defendant. I mean, the person who is being accused, the institution who is doing this. Did they owe a duty of care? Did they owe a duty of care? Were they responsible for the person? Were they responsible for the person?
Oh, yeah,
And did they breach that duty? Did they breach that duty? So all these things, 4 things should be present. There should be a duty of care. There should be a breach of the duty of care, and that breach might have caused the damage before you can say that there has been negligence. And what I want to just here give you an example of situations where there can be a duty of care. I mean, for instance, I'm a nurse, you are a patient. If you were in the hospital, somebody visits us, then we owe the person a duty of care. If I am a passenger, I sit in your vehicle, then you owe me a duty of care. If you are Guinness Ghana Limited and you have produced Coke or Guinness and I am consuming, then you cooked it. So you owe me a duty of care. If I'm your lawyer, I have taken you as my lawyer and then you are dealing with my case, then I owe you a duty of care. So you can add it. You can add a lot of things to it. You can add a lot of the things to it. So that is where we talk about duty of care. You can add. So who can give me another example of a situation where somebody will have a duty of care towards another person? Oh, Nasna. Oh, Jesse will help. Jesse, any example? Oh, because of that, Jesse has left.
Yeah, so let's take the banker for example. If my salary passes through GCB and then I go to GCB to cash out, I think GCB also owe me
a duty of care. They owe you a very important duty of care. If they don't process, your controller pays and they don't process it early, and because of that 3 days you have mistakenly, they say you have no money, and then you don't have a drug to buy your paracetamol, and your headache gives you another headache, then he owes you a duty of care. He has caused damage to you. And we laugh about this, but these are true. We are not doing law, but if I go into a case, there was a case where somebody left a horse by an open place and the horse bolted. Then a police officer tried to stop the horse, and the horse hurt the police officer. Did the horse owner owe the police officer a duty of care?
No, please.
Why no? You put your horse in an open space, knowing that a horse can bolt and people walking on the road. And the police officer has a responsibility to make sure people do not get hurt. Therefore, you owe him a duty of care. So watch it well. Do you get a point?
Oh.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, what is the standard and the burden of proof in medical negligence? If we want to say the standard, what is the standard? The standard was brought up in a case called Bolam case. He said you are not guilty of negligence if you act according to the practice acceptable by a reasonable body of men, medical men. Let me give you a typical example. You are in Ekumfi. In Ekumfi, it is true that enrolled nurses are in charges at chief compounds. They inject people. They nurse wounds. They prescribe drugs. They do all those things. So if one day you prescribe a drug, say that is used at the basic level. I'm not talking about antihypertensives. You understand? Maybe they don't allow you to treat hypertension at the chief compound. But for instance, you can give anti-malarials, you can give all those paracetamol and those things. You can dress wound, you can do first aid, you do all those things there. So that if all of you do that and enrolled nurses are allowed to do it per the standard in Ghana now, and you do it and something happens, because all of us in your situation would have done that, and it is accepted in Ghana, you are not negligent. You are not negligent. But if the rule says clearly that don't give antihypertensives or certain antihypertensives, and you go and give, and something happens, there's a damage as a result, then you will be negligent. So that is what was stipulated in the Bolam case. So when I take you to court, I am the plaintiff. The person, the nurse I took to court, you are the defendant. So when I'm taking you to court, I have the burden of proof. I have to give evidence that you were negligent. But as soon as I am able to prove that you were negligent, then the burden shifts to you. It shifts to you to prove that you were not negligent in the circumstance. So that's what happens. As soon as you are in court, the burden of proof is with the plaintiff. But as soon as the burden shifts, he's able to prove that you were negligent, then you will become the person who should do that. And in a lot of negligent cases, we have a principle called res ipsa loquitor. Res ipsa loquitor. The matter speaks for itself. There are a lot of cases that you may not need any serious evidence to prove that you were negligent. For instance, if I have a foreign call, for instance, a boil on my left leg, and I come to you to come and do I&D, and you pick your scalpel and cut through the foreign is my left leg, and you cut through my right leg, you operate on the wrong part, you are negligent. This one, you don't need any evidence to say that you are negligent. If, for instance, somebody is coming for suturing, and then you put another person there and suture the person's leg because you have some old wound, then you are negligent, wrong patient. If you tie tourniquet, for instance, on my hand, how many minutes are we supposed to remove it anytime it ties tourniquet? And you leave it on, and because of that, I lose my hand or leg. Then you cannot give any explanation why you are not negligent. Let me give you a typical example. If I come to do CS, and 10 months later, I have some abdominal pains. 3 days later, I have abdominal pains. I check. They do X-ray, and there's a gauze inside my abdomen. Then you have no explanation, but you are negligent. So that principle is called res ipsa loquitor. The thing speaks for itself. You don't need anything. And a typical example is what happened right at Apam, Catholic Hospital of Apam in 1973. Somebody went to the hospital, took the 6-week-old baby to the hospital. By the time the mother was somewhere, you see how we do it. The mother is sick here, and the child is sick at the NICU. When the mother got well, and they were looking for the baby was not found. And they have not found the baby up till now. So in that case, can the hospital have any defense? When I give my baby to you, and then to take care of it, and you say you have discharged the baby, I cannot find the baby, you did not hand the baby over to me, and my baby cannot be found, then you can have no explanation to explain why the baby is there or is not there. So in that case, you are clearly negligent. Now, let's see another scenario. If you followed the news around 2014, I was directly involved. I was the regional assistant, first vice chairman for Ashanti region. And this thing happened at Komfuanoche. So what they call Sueba case, baby Sueba. A lady by name Sueba went to the hospital to deliver. When she delivered, she was told that the baby is dead. When the nurses were handing over, I don't know who did not hand what over, and confusion came. Now the woman said, we are Muslims, give us our baby to go and bury. The hospital have been searching up till now. They did not find the baby. So this matter, if it had gone to court, then you know that this is a matter of res ipsa loquitur. The matter will speak for itself. This one, you cannot say that you don't know. You don't know. I mean, where is the baby? Well, if he's dead, where is the corpse? Where is the body? You cannot find it. So, but unfortunately, they brought Zongo boys to come and beat the nurses, midwives, and the doctors at the Komfuanoche there. And because of that, I was involved, and health workers went on strike, that our security was not guaranteed. So the matter became political, and government picked it up. At the end of the day, government paid compensation to the family. And then they gave them quite some substantial amount of money then, almost about 500,000 Ghana cedis. They gave it to them, and the matter did not go to court. It did not go to court because I guess the beatings stopped the process. It became more political than legal, so it did not go to court. But the midwives involved were not spared. They cannot spare them. Though GRNMA came in defending them, got them lawyers and all these things, just so that as part of union solidarity. But let me tell you that the principal midwifery officer in charge of the ward was punished with 4 weeks suspension without pay by the Nursing and Midwifery Council. And the night shift in charge was also suspended for 2 weeks without pay by the NMC. And they were asked to train before they could give them their right to practice again. So it is not that easy. You will be punished if you are found negligent, either by the NMC or by the court system, or somebody will sue you. So that is that. I want to ask some few questions here. Listen to this scenario here. And Louisa, get ready. Louisa, get ready. You'll be answering the questions soon. So Louisa, get ready. A senior nurse mistook polio fever for malaria for one child. And then he gave chloroquine injection, and he did not call any doctor. Is this nurse, and let me explain well. You see, this case is 1991, and the young ones you may not know. In 1991, it was assumed that anybody with fever had malaria. So you will give chloroquine to that person. And so you come, we give you chloroquine 5 cc, then we give you Anagen 5 cc. And then you are fine. You sweat small, and then you are fine. That was the time. And so this case happened at Obuasi, Anglo Goldface Hospital. So the nurse saw the child with fever. So as soon as he saw the child with fever, he just gave the injection, and the child paralyzed. So were they negligent or not? Louisa, if you are there. Okay, Joyce Bequin, since you are already talking, if you can help. Hello. Hey, nobody's helping. Okay, John Fifi.
Okay, I want to try.
Oh, you are not trying. We are learning together.
So I'm not too sure, but I just want to contribute.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so please, that one will first of all find out the route of administration for the paralysis. But early on, you made mention that when the thing is maybe Ghana, and then a group of medical men or people adopted it as something normal, and then when they do it, then it's no more negligence. But so in your situation, they gave chloroquine, and then the other one, I forgot the name. You said 5 cc each, and then
no. They did not fight. They did, in that case, it was a child, so they gave the correct dose of chloroquine.
So,
though the child suffered from polio. The nurse didn't know it was polio, so he treated malaria instead.
Malaria. Yes, and then you said at the time, anyone coming to the hospital with fever, it is assumed it's a malaria.
Oh, you ever walk panics here? We'll just inject you. We'll give you Anagen and
yes. So in this case, I think it's not a medical negligence, but maybe something coincidental.
Exactly. This is not medical negligence, and I will give you 2 reasons. One, polio causes paralysis. So really, the paralysis, you cannot prove that it was caused even by the injection. That is the first one. And the second one is that those times, all fever were assumed to be malaria. So they were given that drug. And senior nurses were allowed to do it then, though it was in town and everything. So she gave it and nothing happened. So the matter even went to Court of Appeal. And still Court of Appeal said the hospital was not negligent. So just to let you know the meaning and as an explanation of negligence. Now, let me give you another case. Ashanti Regional versus Attorney General. Ashanti Regional versus Attorney General. This case also happened at CAT, Confanoche. A 19-year-old was taken to Confanoche for ectopic pregnancy. And then he tried to set a line. So the right arm became gangrenous and it was later amputated. In this case, the court found that Confanoche was guilty. Do you think Confanoche was guilty? I saw some hand. Do you think Confanoche was guilty in this case?
No.
Ajimandia.
Boss.
Do you think Confanoche was guilty?
Yes, boss.
Why?
No, boss. Because I believe before the setting of the cannula, informed consent have been made to the woman in order for them to explain their risks and benefit to the client.
Yeah. In fact, Confanoche was guilty, but experts, including myself, think that if they had mounted a good defense, they wouldn't have been guilty. One, the lady came for ectopic, and when you are insert a line, it is likely that you may have extravasation. I mean, what we call a tissue. And if you don't take good care of it, it may end up, in the case, if you listen to the facts well, the tissue, they were discharged, they went home, they did not take good care of it. When it was swollen, they did a bibidro. And then it was later, when it was so bad that they came back to Confanoche, then it got to amputated. They went to court and got, so in that case, the defense could have been contributory negligence. One. Two, the consent, and your answer is perfect. If you agreed for me to set a line, then you are also agreeing that there's complications of setting a line, which can be extravasation. You understand? So if something happens as a result of that, then you cannot be held to be negligent. But in this case, they lost it. Maybe the nurses did not treat the thing well and all those things. So that is debatable. But Confanoche was guilty. Just as some of us think that they could have mounted a very good defense. Because if you look at the Obuasi case, the Jan versus Ashanti Gofi's case, if you look at it well, it looks like their lawyers did so well so that they lost the case. So that is another thing there. No. And so now that we understand it, let us find out who can be sued. All the cases you are seeing that it is a hospital. It is a hospital. It is a hospital. Please, it is not, I will explain why I'll do vicarious liability soon. So I'll explain why if you come to me as a lawyer, I will not sue a nurse. I will rather sue the hospital. That one I'll explain very soon. But please, the nurse can be sued personally. Personally, the nurse involved. The midwife involved can be sued personally. The doctor involved can be sued personally. And the institution too can be sued. The institution being Ghana Health Service, Ministry of Health, CHAG, Presby Health Services, Catholic Health Services, whatever that you do, can be sued personally. In a case called Some versus Tema General Hospital, though this case did not go to court, it got to Shrad. Shrad found Tema General Hospital guilty because at the time that such a big hospital was supposed to make available emergency services, they were not there. Somebody went to the emergency department, there was no staff. There was no staff. So he sued them at Shrad, and Shrad said that he was right. And then you can also sue the nurse to the institution through what we call vicarious liability. Vicarious liability. And I'll explain vicarious liability soon. There can be also corporate negligence. Note this. if your management fails to provide adequate facilities, like in the case of the Tema General Hospital when I was coming, the hospital is supposed to make sure nurses and doctors are available to render emergency services. If, for instance, a big hospital like Cape Coast Teaching Hospital is not having, its emergency department is not working, and I come there to die, then I can sue you for negligence. The hospital, not the staff. The staff have not done anything. The hospital. And for instance, if you don't provide standard equipment for employees, if your oxygen cylinder fails on somebody, because in this modern society, you are not even having a stand to stop these things. So these things all can be seen. And so the hospital will be liable for the damages. So liability, vicarious liability, like I said, I'm trying to explain, is that, you see, if I am in your employment, like all of us are in the employment of government of Ghana, through the Ghana Health Service or Teaching Hospital or CHAG, and me, if you sue me and you are looking for instance, if you want to sue Janet Ochel or Miss Ajimambia, you want to sue them like somebody sued Regional Hospital for 3 million Ghana cedis, 30 billion. I know as for Janet Ochel, she may be able to have 30 billion. But Ajimambia, I'm sure you don't have it. Ajimambia, I'm sure you don't have it. So if I see you personally for 30 billion, maybe I have to sell you. Ajimambia, forgive me. If you are a male, you are a male is the person I can use. But as for Janet, he will have it. He will have it definitely. So if I know you cannot have it and you are in the employment of somebody, then I will still rather that that organization, because I'm sure that they are the ones who can get. So for instance, I will sue Ghana Health Service, so that if they give me 40 billion, like in the case of Jabin, they sue them for 4 million Ghana cedis and won. So in the Ashanti region, anytime they see any vehicle with Ghana Health Service, then they are attaching. They see any Ghana Health Service account, then they attach Regional Health Directorate everywhere. Any hospital accounts they see, they are attaching because they want to take their money. That is what we call vicarious liability. So 3 things must exist before you can do vicarious liability. So please, it is not hospitals. Those of you with vehicles, you have bought your small taxi or kete or what you call pragya, and you have given it to a driver. And that driver, in driving it, so an employee-employer relationship might be there. You have bought your keke or pragya, and you have given it to the driver. So the driver is your employee. So it means that the person will sue you rather than the driver. The conduct should be within the scope of his employment. You tax him to ride your keke for you, your pragya for you. So as the guy was driving, he hit somebody and killed a goat. So he has caused damage to somebody's goat. And because of that, somebody didn't eat that day. So they would rather sue you instead of the driver for vicarious liability. And the negligence should occur whilst on the job. So for instance, when you are going, and GRNMA have some of those issues all the time. Sometimes they want the association to come in because some people in the town are threatening him. Is that what you did, or is it in the employee? You understand? So if you are a nurse and you are in you are going to your farm and your cutlass cuts somebody's coconut tree and he sues you, can you say the hospital should be sued? No. What you did should be within the job that you are doing for the employee. So that is called vicarious liability. That is why they they sue somebody who it did not actually cause the thing. So all the CEO of Ghana government for negligence, Ghana government has not caused any negligence. It's the people, Ghanaians, who are in the employ of Ghana government who cause those things. And maybe before I end, let me let you know this before I end to allow you to ask questions. There are two types of negligence. The negligence I'm talking about now, and I've been talking about, is what we call civil remedy, civil cases, negligence. So I've been talking about damages. But that is the first one. That is negligence. There's a second one that can be criminal. If your attitude amounts to reckless disregard for the safety of others. So for instance, you are a driver, you just pick the driver, you don't have driving license, you are just learning how to drive, then you drive through the street of Ekumfi, killing 2 people. This is not negligence, so this is reckless disregard for safety. So you can be sued for manslaughter. You can be taken to court and rather prosecuted for manslaughter. So for instance, if you are in the hospital, you know that you are not, let me give you this thing that I don't know whether I should say it. Recently, a nurse put cocoa in infusion. I'm not sure you don't believe that, but it's true. It's true. And we are managing it. We are investigating to know whether she was sane in the first place. But so for instance, this one, if somebody died because you have put IV cocoa, can you imagine this? So that one is reckless disregard for the safety of others. So for instance, let me give you a typical case. In the case, soldiers were firing gun at a place they cannot see well at dawn, and it killed somebody. They said, how can you fire at a place you cannot see? So you were negligent, and this, because somebody died, this is a reckless disregard for safety. So can we say that if you are bringing somebody from theater and the bed has side rails and you are a nurse, you did not pull the side rails up and the person fell and died, is this not reckless disregard for the safety of others? And that will result not only in negligence, but manslaughter. It means manslaughter, if you are found guilty, you can be imprisoned from 1 day to life imprisonment. And so we should watch it all the time. We say negligence, I'm talking about what do we call it? Damages. Like the rape case. You write a drug for me, I bring the drug, you put it there, you did not give it, my wife does of it. Is it reckless disregard for human life, especially being a professional nurse, knowing the use of that drug? So thank you very much, and I make myself available for questions together with all of you so that we all answer together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So my name is Alphonsus Leomensa. I'm the District Secretary for Ekumfi, and we'll be moderating this session. Please, if you want to ask a question, kindly put up your hand so that we can do things in orderly manner. So if you want to ask a question, kindly put up your hand so that I'll call you so that you can ask your question. Thank you.